Heaven never burned. That's what Seraphina believed her entire existence. Until the day her wings caught fire. Angels were not born. They were forged. Seraphina had watched worlds rise and fall from the silver balconies of heaven. Her white wings untouched by doubt. Her heart trained to obey. She was a watcher, an executioner of divine law. When heaven judged a soul too dangerous, Seraphina delivered the sentence. No hesitation, no mercy, no love. Love was a human weakness, or so heaven taught. The order came without warning. A single name carved into light. Azrael, king of the lower flame. Demon, ancient, unkillable until now. Seraphina felt the weight of heaven's gaze upon her. He must be destroyed, the voice commanded, not sealed, not imprisoned, erased. Seraphina bowed, as you will, but something inside her tightened. Hell was not fire. It was silence. Azrael's domain lay beneath a sky of broken stars, where the ground pulsed like a living wound. Shadows bent unnaturally, bowing to a presence they feared. Seraphina descended with blade drawn, wings glowing with holy flame. She expected a monster. She found a man. Azrael stood alone on a black cliff, tall and still, his armor cracked and ancient, eyes glowing like dying embers. He did not attack. He smiled. So, he said calmly, heaven finally sends an angel who can bleed. Seraphina's grip tightened. You will kneel. Azrael looked at her wings. They'll burn, he said softly, if you stay. She struck first. The battle shattered the land. Light collided with flame. Heaven screamed as hell answered. Mountains cracked. Time trembled. Yet, no matter how many times Seraphina struck him down, Azrael rose again, bleeding, laughing, alive. Finally, exhausted, she pinned him to the ground, blade at his throat. Why won't you die? She demanded. Azrael's eyes met hers. Because I was made to endure, he replied, just like you were made to obey. Her blade trembled. That was when she saw it. Behind Azrael, chains, not forged by hell, forged by heaven. Runes of divine punishment burned into his flesh, glowing faintly beneath his armor. You were bound, Seraphina whispered. Azrael's smile faded. Once, he said, when I refused to destroy a human city. Her heart skipped. Demons slaughter humans, she said automatically. Angels erase them, Azrael replied. When they displease you. The word struck deeper than any blade. Seraphina hesitated, just for a breath. It was enough. The holy blade cracked. Light shattered. Azrael pushed her away. Flames roared around him, but he did not strike back. You should kill me now, he said, before you start asking questions heaven doesn't want answered. Seraphina stood frozen. For the first time in eternity, she questioned. Days passed. Heaven did not recall her. Azrael did not flee. Instead, they spoke. He told her about fallen angels turned demons for choosing mercy, about hell being a prison, not a kingdom, about humans caught between heaven's cruelty and hell's hunger. You think you protect balance, Azrael said. You protect control. Seraphina's wings dimmed with every word. She tried to leave. Her wings refused to rise. The punishment came swiftly. Heaven noticed her delay. A searing pain tore through Seraphina's back as her wings ignited, holy fire turning against her. She screamed, collapsing to her knees. Azrael caught her. Don't, she gasped. I'm your executioner. Not today, he said. He wrapped his arms around her burning wings. His flames didn't destroy. They soothed. For the first time, hell protected an angel. When Seraphina woke, her wings were no longer white. They were scorched gold and black. Fallen, Azrael stood watching her, expression unreadable. They've marked you, he said quietly. You can't go back. She looked at her hands, trembling. What happens now? She asked. Azrael stepped closer. Now, he said, heaven hunts you. High above, the voice thundered with rage. Love is treason. Seraphina felt it then. Not fear, not duty. Something dangerous. Something warm. She looked at the demon king she was sent to kill and realized she didn't want him dead. She wanted him alive. Azrael met her gaze, seeing the truth form her eyes. "Angel," he warned softly, "if you love me, heaven will burn," she finished, "and hell will rise. Heaven does not forgive. It erases." The sky above hell split open like a wound. Golden light poured down, not warm, not holy, merciless. Trumpets screamed, not in celebration, but in judgment. Seraphina felt it in her bones. "They're coming," she whispered. Azrael stood beside her at the edge of the obsidian cliff, his cloak moving like living flame. His eyes burned brighter than before, not with rage, but with certainty. "They were always coming," he said. "You just gave them a reason." Seraphina looked at her wings, black and gold, cracked, imperfect, fallen. "I didn't choose this," she said quietly. Azrael turned to her. "Yes," he replied, "you did." The first spear fell without warning. It pierced the ground inches from Seraphina's feet, exploding into holy fire. Screams echoed as heaven's enforcers descended, armored angels with empty eyes and blades of pure command. No emotion, no mercy, no memory. "Seraphina of the Watch," their leader boomed, "you are charged with treason, corruption, and forbidden affection." Forbidden affection. Azrael laughed softly. "That's what they call love now." Seraphina stepped forward. "I will return," she said. "Let him go." The enforcer didn't even look at Azrael. There is no return for the fallen. The word struck harder than any blade. The attack began. Heaven didn't fight, like hell. Hell was chaos. Heaven was precision. Every strike calculated. Every movement final. Azrael unleashed flame, tearing through ranks of enforcers. But for every angel that fell, 2 more descended. Seraphina fought beside him, her light darker now, sharper, unstable. She felt it. Her power was changing, responding to emotion instead of order. That terrified her. An enforcer caught her midair, gripping her throat with blinding strength. "You are defective," it said coldly. "Emotion has compromised you." Seraphina gasped. Then Azrael's blade pierced the angel's chest from behind. The enforcer dissolved into light. Azrael caught her as she fell. "Stay behind me," he growled. Seraphina shook her head. "I'm not your weakness." She placed her hand over his heart. "I'm your choice." Something ancient stirred inside Azrael. Something he had buried long ago. Heaven changed tactics. Chains of light erupted from the sky, wrapping around Azrael's limbs. The same chains that once bound him. Runes burned into his flesh again. Seraphina screamed. "No." The voice returned, deafening, absolute. "See what love does. IT makes you vulnerable." Azrael roared in pain, collapsing to one knee. Seraphina felt something snap. Not her wings. Her faith. She rose into the air, wings blazing dark gold, eyes burning with defiance. "I was forged to obey," she shouted, "but I choose to protect." She struck the chains. Holy law shattered. Heaven felt it. Silence fell. Then the voice spoke again, angrier now. "You are no longer angel." Light tore through Seraphina's wings. They burned, not with pain, with finality. Feathers disintegrated into ash as she fell. Azrael caught her before she hit the ground. For a heartbeat, she thought she was dying. Instead, she felt free. They hid deep within the lower realms as heaven withdrew. For now. Seraphina woke in a cavern of black crystal, Azrael kneeling beside her. "You saved me," she whispered. "You doomed yourself," he replied. She reached for his hand. "I don't regret it." Azrael stiffened. "Demons were not meant to be touched like that." "I don't understand you," he said. "Angels don't fall for demons." She smiled faintly. "Then maybe angels were never meant to stay angels." Days passed. Seraphina learned what it meant to exist without heaven guiding her every breath. She felt hunger, exhaustion, fear, and something else. Desire. Azrael kept his distance, as if afraid proximity would break something fragile. One night, she confronted him. "You keep saving me," she said, "but you won't let me close." Azrael looked away. "Because I know how this ends." "How?" "You'll lose everything," he said, "just like I did." She stepped closer. "Then don't let me lose you too." The kiss wasn't gentle. It was desperate. Years of denial collapsed in a single breath. Light and flame collided, not violently, but perfectly. The world answered. Hell trembled. Heaven felt it. The forbidden bond ignited a mark across both their chests. An ancient sigil older than heaven's laws. Azrael pulled back, eyes wide. That symbol, he whispered. It means. Bonded, Seraphina finished. By choice. Far above them, heaven screamed, because a truth had been proven. Love could cross realms, and laws could be broken. The voice thundered one final warning. War is declared. Azrael wrapped his arms around Seraphina, flames rising around him like a shield. Stay with me, he said quietly. Seraphina looked up at the darkened sky. I already chose. War didn't begin with a battle. It began with a choice. Heaven's armies descended like falling stars. Not just angels, but judicators, beings older than mercy, forged only to erase mistakes. Cities between realms collapsed under their presence. Skies cracked. Time itself shuddered. Hell answered. Demons rose not in chaos, but in formation. Azrael stood at the front, crown of flame restored, eyes burning brighter than ever. Seraphina stood beside him, no longer angel, something new. Her wings had not returned. Instead, dark light flowed from her back like living fire. She's an abomination, heaven declared. She's a miracle, hell replied. Seraphina felt the bond burning between her and Azrael, stronger in battle, sharper in pain. Every wound he took echoed in her chest. Stay behind me, Azrael said again. She smiled grimly. You already tried that. The first clash tore reality open. Holy light slammed into hellfire. Angels and demons collided in the air, blades singing, wings tearing. The sound wasn't screaming. It was judgment. Seraphina fought differently now, not with obedience, but with instinct. She shielded refugees. She disarmed instead of destroyed. That confused heaven. You hesitate, a judicator said as it faced her. Love has weakened you. Seraphina looked at it calmly. No, she said. It taught me choice. She shattered it. Then came the betrayal. A demon general, Belther, Azrael's oldest ally, stepped aside. Chains of heaven wrapped around Azrael. Seraphina screamed. Belther didn't look at her. End this, he said coldly. Give heaven what it wants. Azrael struggled, fury burning in his eyes. They promise hell freedom. Belther said, Your love threatens that. Seraphina felt something break. Not rage, grief. Heaven seized a moment. A spear of pure law pierced Azrael's chest. Time stopped. Seraphina felt the pain like it was her own. She fell to her knees. No, she whispered. Azrael reached for her. Listen to me, he said weakly. If they take me. She stood, slowly. Something ancient awakened inside her. Not angel, not demon. Something between. The sky darkened, not with clouds, with silence. Seraphina rose into the air, eyes glowing with both fire and light. I was never meant to choose sides, she said, her voice echoing across the battlefield. I was meant to choose love. Heaven struck her. It didn't work. She tore the chains from Azrael, shattering heaven's law with a scream that split dimensions. Belther fell back in terror. You broke the covenant, he whispered. Seraphina looked down at him. No, she said. I ended it. But victory demanded a price. The bond flared painfully. Azrael gasped. Seraphina understood instantly. Their connection was destabilizing reality. Two realms weren't meant to be joined like this. If the war continued, everything would collapse. Azrael took her hand. This is why I tried to keep distance, he said softly. You are too powerful. She shook her head, tears burning. No, we are. Heaven retreated, not defeated, afraid. The battlefield fell silent, littered with light and ash. Azrael collapsed. Seraphina caught him. The wound in his chest burned with divine energy that refused to heal. Belther fled. Coward. Traitor. The war had paused. But it wasn't over. Seraphina cradled Azrael as the ground trembled beneath them. He's dying, Hel whispered. She pressed her forehead to his. Then I'll break heaven again. Azrael smiled faintly. You already did. Above them, the voice returned, quiet now, dangerous. Love cannot exist between realms. One of you must fall. Seraphina closed her eyes. She already knew. The sky didn't roar this time. It bowed. Azrael lay dying in Seraphina's arms, divine fire burning through his chest like a star that refused to fade. Hell stood frozen. Demons, creatures born of cruelty, watched in silence, afraid to breathe. Seraphina pressed her hands over the wound. Stay with me, she begged. Please. Azrael smiled faintly. I already stayed longer than heaven ever allowed. Her tears fell onto his armor, hissing as they touched divine flame. Above them, the voice returned, not angry now. Certain, one of you must fall. Seraphina looked up, her face hardened. Then hear my choice. The truth became clear. The bond between angel and demon was never meant to exist. Their love wasn't breaking the rules. It was rewriting them. And heaven could not allow that. If Azrael lives, the voice said, all realms collapse. If you live, it continued, balance is restored. Seraphina laughed bitterly. You still don't understand. She kissed Azrael's forehead. Then she stood. I was created to serve heaven, she said. I fell because I chose love. And now, her body began to glow. Not holy, not infernal. Human, I choose to end this. Azrael's eyes widened. No, he whispered. Don't you dare. She turned back to him, smiling through tears. You taught me something heaven never did. She placed her hand over his heart. That love is an obedience. Seraphina reached into the bond, not to sever it, to take it all. Light and flame poured into her body. The pain was unimaginable. Every sin Azrael had carried, every punishment heaven had inflicted, every wound hell had suffered. She screamed. The sky cracked. Heaven panicked. Stop. Too late. Her wings, once burned, reformed briefly, made of pure light. Then they shattered. Seraphina collapsed. The light faded. The divine fire vanished from Azrael's chest. He gasped, alive, human enough to breathe, free. Silence swallowed the battlefield. Heaven retreated, not in victory, in fear. Because something impossible had happened. A fallen angel had absorbed the demon's curse and erased it. Azrael crawled to Seraphina's side. She lay still, human, fragile. Her eyes fluttered open. We did it, she whispered weakly. He laughed brokenly. You saved everything. She shook her head. No, she said. You did. Her breathing slowed. Azrael's hand shook. Stay, he begged. I stayed. I chose you. You don't get to leave now. Seraphina smiled softly. I didn't fall to die, she whispered. I fell to prove heaven wrong. Her hand slipped from his grasp. Gone. Hell wept, not with tears, with fire dimming. The demon king screamed her name into the empty sky, and heaven never spoke her name again. Years passed. The war never returned. Heaven rebuilt its laws quietly. Hell changed. Azrael ruled differently now, not with fear, but with memory. He built no throne, only a sanctuary on the cliff where they first met. A single statue stood there, not an angel, not a demon, a woman with broken wings, standing between light and flame. Sometimes, when the wind moved just right, Azrael felt warmth at his side, a presence, a whisper, still choosing. He smiled sadly. Always, because heaven learned too late. Love didn't destroy the realms. It exposed them,